Welcome back to another explainer. So, you're gearing up to finally get behind the wheel here in the Philippines, right? Well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're completely demystifying the 2026 process for acquiring your Land Transportation Office, or LTO Student Permit. Look, I know government bureaucracy can often feel like this impossible maze, but we are going to lay this all out as a highly structured, crystal clear roadmap. By the end of this explainer, you'll know exactly what to prepare, how much it's actually going to cost, and the exact steps you need to take to walk out of that LTO office with your permit in hand. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the baseline, eligibility. Second, the paperwork, document checklist. Third, the investment, cost breakdown. Fourth, choose your adventure, application routes. And finally, the finish line, validity and rules. Let's get right into it. All right, Section 1, the baseline, who can apply and the basic requirements. So what exactly are we dealing with here? Let's be totally clear. This is not a full license. It's essentially your official permission to learn, but, with guardrails. It's the mandatory, absolute first step toward a non-professional driving license in the Philippines. It technically allows you to legally operate a motor vehicle on public roads, but strictly, and I mean strictly, under the supervision of a fully licensed driver. Now, before you even think about applying, there are some strict physical and educational hurdles you've got to clear. Age-wise, you need to be at least 16 if you're a Filipino citizen, or 18 if you're a foreign resident. You absolutely must be physically and mentally fit and literate in English, Filipino, or a major local language. But here is the big one. You must already completed a 15-hour theoretical driving course, or TDC. You also can't have any pending traffic violations hanging over your head, and you must be free of any addiction to alcohol or illegal drugs. If you tick all those boxes, you're good to go for the next phase. Moving right along, Section 2, the paperwork, your document checklist. So no matter who you are, every single applicant across the board needs 3 baseline things: a valid medical certificate from an LTO-accredited clinic, your TD certificate that proves you passed that 15-hour course, and the duly filled LTO application form. Now, beyond that, it really depends on your specific situation. Filipino citizens, grab your PSA-authenticated birth certificate and a valid government ID. If you're under 18, you've got to add a parent or guardian's consent letter along with a copy of their ID. Foreigners need a passport and a visa that's valid for at least 6 more months. Married women, you'll need to provide a PSA marriage certificate. And if you're employed, you need to bring your tax identification number, or TIN. Just figure out which rows apply to you, gather those specific documents, and put them in an envelope. It really is that simple. Next up, Section 3, the investment, breaking down the costs. All right, let's talk about your wallet. If you're going the standard route, you should prep a maximum estimated budget of around 2,000 pesos. Now you might be wondering, wait, government fees are usually pretty low, right? Why is it that high? Well, let me show you. Here's the real breakdown. The actual government fee is tiny. It's the prerequisites that make up the bulk of this investment. For example, your medical exam at an LTO-accredited clinic. That'll run you between 300 and 500 pesos. Then there's the 15-hour theoretical driving course. Now, this can actually be done for free at an LTO driver's education center, but those slots are notoriously hard to get, like really hard. So most people end up going to a private driving school, which will cost you up to 1,000 pesos. Add all that up, and that's how we reach that 1,600 to 2,000 peso estimated total. But hey, if you do manage to score a free TDC slot, your out-of-pocket costs at the actual LTO office drop dramatically. Look at this: a 100 peso application fee, a 150 peso permit fee, and a very specific 67 pesos and 63 centavos computer fee. Yeah, don't ask us how they came up with the 63 centavos, but seriously, bring exact change so you're not that person holding up the line. All right, Section 4, choose your adventure, online versus walk-in application routes. At this point, your docs are gathered, your wallet is ready, and you're at a fork in the road. You essentially have 2 options here. You can do the online application using the Land Transportation Management System, or LTMS portal, or you can go the traditional walk-in route, doing everything in person at your local LTO branch. But, okay, huge catch here. Listen up. Regardless of which path you choose, even if you want to walk in, you absolutely must register for an LTMS account online first. There is no getting around this. It is mandatory. You have to go to portal.lto.gov.ph, enroll as an individual, verify your email, and get your official LTO client number before you can proceed with either method. If you decide to go fully online, it's actually a beautifully streamlined 4-stage process. First, register that LTMS account we just talked about. Second, apply for the student permit directly in the portal and digitally verify your medical certificate number. Third, set an appointment for your local branch and pay the 317 peso fee online using a credit card or digital wallet. And fourth, simply visit the LTO office on your appointment day with your original documents to collect your physical permit. It massively cuts down your waiting time at the office. Now, if you prefer the old-school walk-in route, we've broken the bureaucracy down into 6 actionable steps. First up, create your LTMS account anyway and finish your medical and TDC. Then, download and fill out LTO form number 21. Third, gather all your physical docs and your exact cash. Fourth, walk into the LTO office, wait in line, and submit your papers at the service counter for verification. Fifth, you'll be called up to take a live photo, register your signature, and pay the cashier. And finally, step 6, you just wait for your name to be called and you collect your permit. It takes a bit more patience for sure, but it gets the exact same job done.
Finally, Section 5, the finish line, validity and next steps.
So, let's address a question we get all the time. Can I just skip this? Like, bypass this whole student phase entirely? If I already know how to drive, can I just jump straight to applying for the full license right out of the gate? The answer is a massive, undeniable no. There is no shortcut here. LTO rules strictly mandate this as a completely non-negotiable stepping stone. Nobody is allowed to directly apply for a driver's license without obtaining the student permit and completing the associated courses first, totally regardless of what license type or category you're ultimately aiming for. Okay, so once you actually have it in your hands, how long is it good for? Well, from the exact date it's issued, your student permit is valid for exactly 1 year. That's your window. It's your time to practice and take your practical driving course. Now, if a year passes and you still aren't quite ready for your non-professional license, no worries. You have the option to renew the student permit for a second year. But after that second year, it expires permanently. You cannot renew it again. You'd literally have to start this entire application process over from scratch. And please, whatever you do during that 1 to 2 year window, never forget the absolute golden rule of the student permit. You cannot drive alone. Ever. Under any circumstances. You must be accompanied by a valid driving license holder, and they must be physically sitting right there with you in the vehicle while you are driving on any road in the Philippines. And there you have it, the whole shebang. Your complete roadmap to securing an LTO student permit. The bureaucracy doesn't have to be a nightmare if you actually have a map, right? So are you fully prepared to gather those docs, log into the LTMS portal, and kickstart this journey? Oh, but once you finally have that permit in hand, an even bigger question pops up. What habits are you going to build during that crucial first year of supervised driving to make sure you become a genuinely safe driver? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer. Start your engines, stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.